Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectMeWithTiffany. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and let's help you guys get more done in less damn time. I'm going to share with you today my blueprint for managing your task list while maximizing your productivity. First, I want to go over a belief that I know so many of you carry. This is very common with ambitious and driven women and men. And I had it too for most of my life. And it literally damn near killed me. And I know there's quite a few of you where you have health issues from it. It is slowly killing you. It's killing your joy, your energy, your life force. And we're gonna put a stop to this. We have to stop this today. That's the goal of this episode. And it can be stopped today. If you take it seriously, you listen in and you're finally at a point of, you know what? Enough's enough here. Something's got to change. This isn't working, and I don't want to end to 2020 being in the same damn spot. So this is a belief that triggers overwhelm in even the most, tenacious, ambitious, driven, service-based people, right? If I want to make more money, if I want to lose weight, if I want a successful business, then I have to, right? This is where the have tos and the shoulds come in. Then I have to work out more. I have to be more energetic. I have to write more posts. I have to be more outgoing. I need to work more hours. I need to get more done every day. I need to clone myself. I need to wake up earlier. I need to stay up later. I need to go buy a celery juice press and start making my own celery juice and then spend 40 minutes cleaning the fucking machine every day. We start telling ourselves all these things that we need, that we believe we need to do more of in order to get what we want. And then that causes overwhelm, and it also causes shame. The shame comes from basically by saying all these statements in your head, thinking them, saying them out loud, you are telling yourself that I'm not enough as I am to get what I want, so I have to do more. Even though I'm burning the candle at both ends right now, it's still not enough. It's never enough. I need to do more. It's also telling yourself and giving messaging that in order for me to have the very things I want in life, the freedom, the success, the love, the joy, the passion, the fulfillment, so much is required of me, like to the breaking point of requirement in order to get it. Well, don't you think that'll bring up some resistance within you? Like, why would I really want to be successful and obtain and achieve these things I want if I believe all this extra stuff is required of me and I'm already so tired and I already feel like I'm pouring so much in and I already feel like I don't have that much left to give? So of course you're going to create this resistance. It's going to show up as procrastination. It's going to show up as perfectionism. It's going to show up as quote unquote, you doing more research and learning more. It's going to show up as you saying things like, I don't have the money to start a business. I don't have the money to grow my business. Now is not the right time. It's going to show up resistance shows up in all those excuses. That's why when someone tells me, I don't usually get now's not a good time. So it's like, well, why the fuck did you apply for my program if now's not a good time? Like, now you just wasted my time and yours. No one says that to me. But everyone gets the money objection, by the way. I don't give a shit who you are. Tony Robbins gets the money objection. Oprah gets the money objection. When I get that money objection from people, I know it's not about money. Listen, I made $17,000 a year and I found a way to pay for my damn nails, okay? And Starbucks every single day. So I don't want, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all find money for the things that we deem important, that we believe are going to help us. A lot of times, those things can be instant gratification type things, but we all find the money. That's why I know when anyone says money to me, I don't give a shit what your income is. If you're in debt, it doesn't matter to me. You wouldn't have applied to work with me. Someone like me specifically, you would never, number one, I'm not free. My ass isn't cheap because we don't do cheap. I don't want you to get cheap help. When people say, oh, you need to find cheap labor. I've done that before, you guys. There's a big catch when you go after cheap labor, right? And free help is great, but free help can only go so far, right? Free only goes so far. End of story, right? You're getting a sampling. It's like the free samples at Costco at the grocery store. You're getting a taste, and that's great. It's an excellent taste. Sometimes they let you come back around for seconds, but you're not getting the whole damn pizza. You're not getting, the whole jambalaya stew that smells amazing, right? You're getting a taste. You're getting a sampling. Nothing's wrong with it. You're just not getting the whole thing. That's toe dipping if you really want it, right? But when people say it's about money or come up with my husband won't go for it, I don't know where I'm going to get the money from, all this stuff, it's like that is resistance. And I'll often say, what is it? This is clearly resistance showing up. What is your resistance? And it's usually about lack of belief in oneself, not knowing if I can do it. It also comes from the belief of, wow, like it's like you don't want to believe it can be that easy, that you can get help from the right person and that you can actually make your money back and then some over and over again if I go all in with it. It almost sounds too good to be true, that I'm going to make money doing something I love. There's a skepticism in that in general. Wait, I get to make money in a way that feels good to me and helping people and doing something I love? That's like the opposite of what we've been taught in society, and which has really come down, right, from God knows how many years, hundreds of years, I'm sure, with corporations wanting to keep people, right, playing small. It's like, yes, that doesn't mean it's an easy ride, but it can happen with ease and joy, without a doubt, without you killing yourself. But those limiting beliefs of, if you want, the early bird gets the worm, and you want more, you have to work more. I mean, I was raised by a mom who's an entrepreneur who kept telling me over and over, she said it out loud so many times, if you want to be successful, you have to give an arm and a leg and damn near kill yourself. Well, guess what I did when I became an entrepreneur? I gave an arm and a leg and damn near killed myself, because that was my belief. I thought in order to make a lot of money, a lot of impact, to help people, it was like you were the sacrificial lamb in order to do so. And when you already feel like you sacrifice so much in your life and you don't have enough time for self-care, you're already doing so much, you already have so much energy left, the thought of having to pour in and give all even more sounds horrible. Or maybe some of you listening were like me and you've already poured in so much before in your life into a career, into another business you've had, and you've regained your health and you've regained your time for self-care. And it's so important and nurturing for you. You don't want to lose it. So that was one of my barriers with starting ProjectME, especially the 2 years prior. I already had a full-blown health crisis where I did almost die. I mean, I was on death's fucking door from overworking, from this limiting belief. If I want more money, if I want to have the body I want, if I want to have the health I want, if I want a successful business, if I want to make the most impact, if I want to help the most people, if I want to have the love of my life, then Tiffany isn't enough as she is. And she has to do more, be more, all the time, nonstop, if you really want it. And I wanted those things bad enough. And so I kept grinding and forcing and pushing, and I was fucking exhausted. And I kept doing it because I'm stubborn. I had no self-worth. And that's how strong that limiting belief was. And I almost left this earth because of it. I got so sick. And I ended up losing a ton of money because I had to take my other company. I had to pare it way down to where I only had, I think at one point I only had like 2 clients. I had to pare it way down because I literally couldn't function. I couldn't even go to the grocery store myself. And I promised myself that when I did start ProjectME, I would not start it in the same way or run it in the same way I ran my first business. I would only do it where my health and well-being came first, and that I was going to do it with ease and with flow and enjoy the ride. And I was going to experiment. I didn't believe it was possible, you guys. I shouldn't say that. I had a hint of possibility. I was like, it's gotta be possible, because I do see people around me, whether, even if they're strangers, but there were some people I knew more as like acquaintances, like I call them my gym friends. I know you guys do that too. It's like, they're not your friends, but they're your gym friends, which is weird because you see them more than your actual friends. And you probably even talk to them more than your actual friends, yet they're not your friends, they're your gym friends. Who else has the gym friends? You've got to take a screenshot of this episode, tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany, and totally put like the gym friends somewhere on there. I've got to know if you know what I'm talking about. It's like, I really you'd think I'm an extrovert with how many gym friends I have, even though I can't go to the gym now, which is really, actually, that just made me think of something, because I've talked about the grief of all the things we've lost from COVID, from being able to go to graduations, gatherings, trips, celebrations. And I just realized, you know what? There's also grieving in those people in those regular establishments that you go to, that you hug, that you encourage each other. And all those gym friends of mine, I mean, I've never not gone to the gym, you guys. I'm not even joking. Since I was 14 years old. I'm not kidding you. Never, except when I had spine surgery. That was the longest I was ever not at the gym, and that was 6 months. And I still was going to like a rehab, so it was still like I was still at a gym. So I've never not done this in my life. So a lot of these gym friends are people I've known for freaking ever. And if I think about it, you're grieving actually the loss of those gym friends or those people you'd see at regular establishments or regular things. And even if some of you can see them, depending on where you live, you can't really hug them. It's not in the same way. I know I just went off on a tangent, but sometimes when I'm talking, realizations like ahas come up, and I feel they come up for a reason, and I have to share them with you. So back to these limiting beliefs. When we believe whatever we believe, we create, whether it's conscious or subconscious. And I was not aware of this, by the way. All this time I was running myself into the ground, hustling, grinding my way. I never once was like, God, is it my limiting beliefs? I didn't even know that term, by the way. Is it my limiting beliefs that's getting me here? Is that what's going on here? That, could this be easier? No, it was totally subconscious. It's so tricky. That's why we have to have, and you know what? I did have people in my life who pointed things out to me. They just didn't know how to say it in a way I could hear them, which is why I'm so passionate about having the show and sharing things with you guys, because I know that those of you who jive with my style, my coaching style, my personality, my communication, you guys can hear me. And I know that I wish someone said things to me in a certain way I could hear, because it would have probably stopped me in my tracks and maybe have made me do something differently. Maybe not. I'm sure it did take me getting really sick and almost dying to change course. So I made a promise to myself when starting ProjectME that I was only going to do this in this new way. I was going to experiment. I believed there was a possibility because I did see people around me who genuinely I knew weren't fake. And they were honest about having bad days, but overall, 80% of the time, they loved their business. They loved what they did. They had a lot of abundance. They were free to travel. They had time to spend at the gym. They could chat at the gym. They weren't always running off saying, I'm so busy. I'm so exhausted. That was my whole thing. I'm so busy. I'm so exhausted. I don't have time. You could just tell by how they looked that they had a calm, confidence, grounded ease about them. So I did believe there was possibility, but I was highly skeptical still. So I said to myself, I'm going to experiment because this is the only way I'm willing to do it. Otherwise, I'm not going to go after my dream because I really don't have it in me. I can't risk my health again. It's not going to happen. So I'm going to experiment and see what happens, that I could build this with ease, joy, flow, where it feels good, and putting my health first, my well-being first, and not being the sacrificial lamb. And if this works, universe, God, I promise I will go all in teaching other people how to do the same thing. And so here we are today. Because it fucking worked, you guys. I net more money from this business in 2.5 years than I did in my first 5 years combined of my other business. And my other business is all corporate clients, which corporate clients, the sales cycle's longer to get one, but the dollar amounts are very big. $25,000 a month, $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month. So that's a big statement. I am netting, meaning after taxes and expenses, more in 2.5 years from ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, with me working, I would say 25 to 30 hours a week would be fair. That would be very fair for me to say that amount. And it really isn't much more than that. 25 to 30 hours a week, putting my self-care, my well-being first at all times. 25 to 30 hours a week. In 2.5 years, I'm netting significantly more than I did my first 5 years combined in my other business. So it fucking works. And that's why I will keep sharing this with you guys. It works. I know how it works. I have proof of concept that it works. I've been doing it long enough. It's not like this is my first 3 months, right? Long enough where I tell you it works. I had it all wrong before. We all did. Because we bought into the fucking lie. It is a fucking lie. I am not a morning person. Period. I'm also not anymore a night. I used to be a night person. Now I'm not a morning person or a night person. I actually have a pretty short window of time for me to work every day where I'm at my peak. I don't start most of my days until noon. I'm not joking. Like, I don't start, meaning work stuff. Some days, on Wednesdays, I start a little earlier, but really, this is all possible for you, but you have to believe it's possible. If you believe me, know it's possible, and create that experiment for yourself. because that's where the magic is, because we can't fake energy. We can't out-strategize a shitty mindset. And your energy is what is so polarizing. And when we're energized and we're grounded and we feel good, you attract so much abundance and amazing ideal clients to you with such ease versus always clawing and fighting for it. That energy is not magnetizing and not as attractive, which is why I had to go and pitch and sell my ass off for so many years to get clients, whereas now I barely mention something and I get them. That's what I love teaching. So as far as getting more done in less time, you've got to commit today to going, I'm going to experiment. I believe it is possible. You don't have to believe all the way, but you believe it is possible that I get to have what I want, the body I want, the love life I want, the home I want, the money I want, the freedom I want, the business I want, the impact I want to make. I get to have this, and I get to have it by me simply being me, all of my crappy traits and my good traits, me exactly where I'm at today, with my exact level of education, at my exact age, at my exact weight, with my exact look, with my exact skill sets, with me putting myself first in terms of being self-honoring and taking care of myself first and having fun. I get to have what I want. I have enough right here as it is today. But you have to declare that for yourself today. And when you first start, you're going to have to declare it every day, like one day at a time. I had to do it one day at a time. And now I totally believe it because I have so much proof. But I would say my first year, first 8 months, first 8 months to a year, I had to say it every day to remind myself because I had so many years and years and years of programming the other way. So every single day, I want to see you guys have a mantra of an affirmation to where you are making that declaration that you are going to do things in a different way now. You are going to achieve your goals with ease and joy. And you have everything that you need already right now, just as it is. And I created something for you for free. And it's only going to be free for extremely limited time. You'll see why once you download it. You guys are going to shit. I put my top affirmations that are truly responsible for me keeping my inner peace, my financial success, abundance flowing, all in a beautiful affirmation card deck for you guys. They're stunning. You guys are going to die. And I will be transitioning to selling them inside my TIFF shop. But right now, I feel you guys need these so badly right now at this exact time with this crazy ass year we've had. So here's where you go. To download them, you go to projectmewithtiffany.com/affirmation cards. projectmewithtiffany.com/affirmation cards. And you can simply print out this deck at home and cut them. You want to print them in color, trust me. If you don't have a color printer, all you have to do is you can email the file to any sort of office supply store or printer like Staples or something like that. And they will print them for you, and it doesn't cost much at all. I think there's either 4 or 6 pages. It's not like a ton of pages. And there's 4 cards to a page. And you cut them out. Some people will laminate them on top of it if you want to do that, but they're designed to where you can cut them out. I want you to put these affirmations in all sorts of places in your house. You can use them digitally too as screensavers, backgrounds on your phone. So once you download these, I want you to for sure take a screenshot of the card that calls to you the most, share it on your Instagram stories and tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany and spread that affirmation. Because every time someone else reads an affirmation or you read one on someone else's account, scrolling on social media, that only that only heightens and draws in more of what you want into your life. So go to projectmewithtiffany.com/affirmation cards. This is something that's really, really going to help you rewire that limiting belief that most all of us have had in there for God knows way too long. Here's the other thing that you need to do in order to get more done in less time. I want you to stop making these crazy ass to-do lists where you have like 20 things on them, because it can make you feel good to write them all out, like on a Sunday, all the shit you procrastinated on, and you write it all out. It's like a brain dump, and it's like, oh, it's all there, and I'll magically get it all done this week while I, make celery juice and eat kale for dinner. It's a setup. It's a really sneaky way of self-sabotage. It doesn't work. I just want you to have, what is one main action you can take every day towards the goal you're working on? One. And let's say you're working on 2 goals. Let's say one is around like your health, and then one is around money, business. I would want you to put what is one major action for each of those things. I try to just focus on 2 main goals at a time. So like right now would be like my goals I have for a goal I have for my business, and the other would be for, my body, my well-being. When I add a third one in, my third one would be in getting shit cleaned out and organized in my house. If I add a third one in, it can be too much for me, and I can get overwhelmed, and it can trigger the whole shame cycle, the whole thing of, oh my God, I keep putting that off. I didn't get that done, and it lowers my vibration. So I've removed the organizing thing. So if you know someone, or any of you listening are in the Los Angeles area, Calabasas area, and you're an professional organizer, DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany, because guess what? I'm going to pay for someone to do it because it's not working for me. So I focus on 2 goals at a time. Like I said, business, health. And then what is one major action you can take a day towards each one? So that means you're taking 2 actions a day. When I say major, I don't want you guys to mishear me on that and think, oh my God, well, I have to start my podcast. Like that's a major action. I have to write 3 chapters in a book. It's a key action. It's not like, oh, I wrote 1 post today. That's not a major action, right? A major action would be, I did a full week's worth of posts and put them in a planning calendar, or something like that. Or I mapped out my content for the month. That's a major action. I'm all about taking little actions. That's great. But the main ones move the needle. So one major one for each one. I mean, for your health, it could be that you're moving your body and working out. It doesn't need to be something profound like you've meal prepped for the week, but it could be. It just needs to, I don't want that one major action to like consume you. So you're going to do that. Anything else you get done is gravy. It's bonus. But knowing at the end of the day, you checked off the 2 main things, it's going to make your energy high. You're going to sleep better, and you're not setting yourself up for a shame hit. Like, oh God, I only got 3 things done on my list of 20. I'm a piece of shit. I wish I had more energy. And then you go back to, if I only was more ambitious, if I only had more energy, if I only could clone myself, if I only had more time in the day, if I could only hire more help. And now you go back into that it sets you up to get back in that old limiting belief system that we're trying to delete. And it's not good. So just focus on those 2 things. You'll be amazed what happens. When you do those 2 things and you make a point of those are the priority, you have to you start getting sidetracked. You have to bring yourself back to, I can do that later. These 2 things have to come first. I can do that later. These 2 things have to come first. Obviously, there's going to be some days where the shit hits the fan and you have to derail all plans. That's life. But for the most part, you've got to, getting distracted is a form of procrastination, is also a form of subconscious self-sabotage. So you have to put those blinders on and go, I can organize my sock drawer, but I have to do these two things first. I can go to my third grocery store of the week. I mean, how many of you guys have to go to like 5 grocery stores to get all the shit you need? It's unbelievable, isn't it? I think I'm down to 3. I used to be 5, and that's just craziness. And now I'm down to Sprouts, Trader Joe's, and like I call them like a standard grocery store. Like out here, it'd be like a Vons or a Ralph's, like a standard market. Well, that's not true. I have 4 because, we know I do the Erewhon thing. Oh my God. I'm at 4 again. And I was trying to get to 3. But I know you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like the produce sucks here. And then this other place doesn't have my damn crackers I like. It's fucking crazy. It really is. That's why there's always room in the market for another damn food store. So you'll be amazed what happens when you get those 2 main actions done. Your energy is higher. You have relief. You feel good about yourself. And there's you end up having more energy and you feel more motivated to then get more stuff done. So it's a really, really amazing setup. The other thing I want you to always ask yourself is this a revenue generating activity when it comes to your business, your business and money goals? Is this a nice to do, nice to have, or will this move the needle in my business? Will this generate more leads, more ideal clients, therefore more money? Or am I just doing some busy work that's kind of easy, that's low-hanging fruit that makes me feel like I'm doing something and makes me feel like I'm being productive, but it's really not moving the needle? You have to really be honest with yourself about that. I used to do a ton of busy work, and it made my ego feel good. Like, I'm busy. I'm so productive. I'm doing things. But I wasn't being strategic with my time and my output. And that's part of how I got so burned out, is I was doing a lot of busy stuff that was nice to haves, that wasn't necessary, or they were things that I could have easily hired out someone on Fiverr or Upwork. I could have had someone else do them for very, very cheap, or it wasn't that important or necessary at that point in my business. I was just trying to have the things that I saw other business owners have, and they really weren't necessary. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of shit that is not necessary to get to $250,000 a year. I'm telling you that right now. It's a lot less than you guys think, and I have an episode on it. So go look up that episode. I don't know the number off the top of my head. It's from the last couple months. It was definitely done in the last 6 to 8 weeks. Go listen to it if you haven't. And if you think you've listened to it, well, then clearly you need to listen again. Because there's a lot that you don't need, but you've come up with a belief you need it because you see that other people have it. And I tell you exactly what you need and don't need to get to $250K a year. So you want to make sure you ask yourself that question. Is this a revenue generating activity, or is this just like a nice to have? Is this a nice to have? Is this an extra, or is this an essential? When it comes to your health, I want you to ask yourself, like, what would feel the most nurturing to me today? Because you're not going to be able always to get in an hour-long workout and make your green smoothie and, meditate. And you're not going to be able to get it all in. You're not all the time, right? So what would feel the most nurturing to me today helps me pare that down. Otherwise, what I'll do is I'll be like, I only have an hour. I can't get my whole routine done in an hour. Well, then fuck it. I'm not going to do it. Then I guess I can't do it today. And I'll be straight up with you. This last week, I fell into that. We can fall back into this stuff very easily. I fell back into it. And therefore, by the time Thursday hit, I felt like shit. Because I wasn't prioritizing my self-care because I had a really busy week. Business taxes were due. That's enough said right there. And so I was like, I only have an hour. I only have 45 minutes. So I can't squeeze in my whole thing I like to do in that time. So I guess I'm just not going to do it today. And I said that Wednesday. And then guess what happened on Thursday? Said the same thing. And then by the time Friday hit, I felt like such shit. I ended up not doing it because I felt like crap. Not good. So ask yourself that question of what would feel the most nurturing, especially when you're someone who runs unlimited time. You could have 15 minutes. Maybe it's 15 minutes of quiet time. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe you jump rope for 5 minutes, or you just do a dance party or jumping jacks just to get that blood flowing. Maybe you take a cold shower. Maybe you take a 10-minute Epsom salt bath. Something's better than nothing, right? That black and white thinking, like the all or nothing thinking, is another form of resistance and subconscious self-sabotage. It's just incredible what we do. I hope you guys love this episode. Please remember to download those affirmation cards, projectmewithtiffany.com/affirmation cards, because I will be charging for them. You will see why once you download them. They are like legit. And yes, don't worry, I will be actually selling at some point soon an actual like physical card deck version. And then we'll be adding more cards in there. But I was just so excited, and I know how hard this year has been for all of us. And these you'll see the affirmations. They're all ones that your ego can believe. They're not like millions of dollars flows to me in my sleep. And you're like, girl, I'm barely, making ends meet, right? Our ego doesn't believe that stuff. So these are all truly affirmations that your ego can at least believe that it's possible, because that's what I teach works. Please leave a 5-star written iTunes review. Remember, every single review for the month of September, $10 is getting donated to Children of the Night, my primary charity that helps rescue women and children from sex trafficking. So we need more of those reviews in order to do that. Please share this episode in your Instagram stories. Tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany. And you can also encourage people to leave a review as well, and to listen to the show, because then they'll hear me talk about the review. That will also help raise awareness for sex trafficking, which is one of the biggest epidemics, if not bigger than even the drug trade in the entire world. And it's one of the least talked about and discussed things because it makes people so uncomfortable. And it's been going on probably since the beginning of time. Sadly, it's been going on. It's just there's not been as much awareness around it. So I really appreciate you guys sharing your support and all of that. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you guys. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.